Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Great to be here.
So today we're digging into a company that definitely sparks a lot of conversation and a lot of questions from you all. Plug Power.
Yeah, it's been high on the request list for sure.
Exactly. And the big question you keep asking is Plug Power a good time to buy now? That's what we're trying to figure out today.
It's a tricky one. You know, it's got that mix of exciting future tech.
And some, well, pretty concerning numbers right now, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've pulled together the financials, the charts, what analysts are saying, trying to give you that complete picture.
Financial health, market momentum, the whole thing.
Right. But before we jump in, just a quick ask. If you find this analysis helpful, please do hit that subscribe button, like this, maybe leave a comment.
Yeah, your feedback really helps us.
And definitely, if there's another company you're curious about, let us know in the comments below. We'll add it to the list. Okay, so Plug Power. Hydrogen fuel cells. You hear about them in forklifts, but also like bigger industrial infrastructure, right?
That's the idea. But yeah, when you look at the 2024 performance, the financials show this stark contrast. Big growth on one side,
Okay.
but big struggles on the other.
So tell me about the growth part first. What did that look like for 2024?
Okay, so for the year ending December 31st, 2024, annual revenue hit $1.06 billion.
A billion, right.
Which, you know, is a 25% jump from 2023. So decent top-line growth.
25% year over year isn't bad at all, but I saw notes indicating this actually missed their own forecasts. Why was that?
And that's kind of the first bit of grit in the gears, isn't it? The analysts point to execution issues, things like project delays, and also just ongoing problems getting enough hydrogen reliably and, you know, affordably.
Ah, the supply chain headaches hitting even hydrogen.
Seems like it. They're building this big network, but actually feeding it is proving, well, complicated and costly.
Okay, so growth, but maybe not profitable growth then. What did the bottom line look like?
Yeah, this is where the story takes a, let's say, alarming turn. The operating loss for 2024 was $985 million.
Wow, almost $1 billion operating loss.
Right, but the net loss, that was even bigger. A staggering $1.34 billion for the year.
Hold on, a $1.34 billion loss on $1.06 billion in revenue?
That's correct. They actually lost substantially more money than they made in sales.
That's incredible. So basically, the hydrogen and fuel cells they sold in 2024 cost them far more to produce and deliver than customers paid for them.
That's exactly what it means. The core issue, gross margins were still deeply negative.
Why so negative? What's driving that?
Seems like two main things. One, the cost of hydrogen itself, whether they make it or buy it, is still very high. And two, all those billions they're sinking into new manufacturing plants.
The big CapEx.
Yeah. Those plants aren't running efficiently enough yet. They're underutilized, so they aren't covering their own fixed costs.
Okay, that level of loss, it just sounds completely unsustainable. How's the balance sheet holding up under that kind of cash burn, especially with all the ongoing investment needed?
Well, the balance sheet definitely reflects that pressure. As of December 31st, 2024, they had about $415 million in cash and equivalents.
Okay, $415 million. Sounds like a lot, but...
But compare that to the debt. Total long-term debt and finance leases, $1.32 billion.
So more than 3 times as much debt as cash on hand? Ouch.
Precisely. And even more concerning, maybe, is the negative free cash flow. They spent way more cash on R&D and building stuff than they generated from operations. It's the definition of burning cash.
And all that led to?
It led to the most critical disclosure, really. It's in their official 2024 10-K filing. That's the big annual report they have to file with the SEC.
Right.
In that document, management explicitly stated there is substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a going concern.
Wow.
Unless, they said, they get reliable government subsidies frameworks sorted out, or they manage to raise substantial additional financing.
Fast. That going concern warning, I mean, that's about the most serious language you can find in a financial report, isn't it? Management basically saying, we might not make it through the next year without help.
It's a massive red flag, yes.
So then why are people still investing? Why are we even talking about it if the company itself doubts its survival?
Well, that's the paradox, isn't it? It all comes down to the potential.
Yeah.
The market seems to be weighing that long-term vision against this very real short-term financial distress.
Okay, let's talk about that vision. What are the competitive advantages they might have that could possibly justify this level of risk?
They do have a few things going for them structurally. First, they were an early mover in green hydrogen infrastructure. They've built out some groundwork, got the IP.
Okay, first mover advantage, that helps.
Second, they have real contracts,
Yeah.
multi-year supply deals signed with major Fortune 500 companies. So there's some guaranteed revenue, even if the margins aren't good right now.
Right, an established customer base.
But the biggest potential edge, the one the market seems fixated on, is their eligibility for those IRA incentives, the Inflation Reduction Act.
Ah, the subsidies piece.
Exactly. Those hydrogen production tax credits, they could be worth up to $3 per kilogram of clean hydrogen produced. If that comes through as hoped, it could fundamentally change the economics, like turning negative margin hydrogen into positive margin hydrogen almost instantly.
That sounds like a lifeline, a huge policy tailwind if it materializes correctly. But like you said, those dollars aren't fully flowing yet, and they face massive execution risk today.
And that's the critical gap, policy promise versus operational reality. Right now, we still see the cash burn, the terrible gross margins.
And competition must be heating up, too.
Definitely. Big industrial companies, major energy players,
Yeah.
they're all moving into hydrogen now, and they have balance sheets that just dwarf Plug Power's. That's serious pressure.
And for you, the listener, maybe already holding shares or considering it, this constant need for cash, it has a direct impact, right?
A very direct one. Dilution. They need money, so they issue more stock. We saw it in March 2025. They filed to potentially issue another 185.4 million shares and warrants.
Ooh, greedy.
Every time they do that, it makes each existing share worth a smaller piece of the company. It hangs over the stock like a cloud.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, though. The fundamentals look, frankly, terrifying.
Yeah.
Yet the stock price has been incredibly volatile with huge upswings recently, like that massive rally in September 2025. Is the market just completely ignoring the going concern warning and the losses?
It certainly feels like the market's focus is heavily weighted towards sentiment, the potential impact of subsidies, and maybe some technical trading patterns rather than the current profitability picture.
So technically speaking, what's the situation? The price was around $2.18 recently.
Yeah, mid-September, something like that. But the volatility is just off the charts. I mean, the 52-week range, it went from a low of $1.86 in June 2025 all the way up to $7.83 back in October 2024. Wild swings.
So technically, is this recent rally strong enough to reverse that longer-term downtrend?
Doesn't look like it, not yet anyway. The key technical indicators still point towards a bearish longer-term trend. The shares are trading below both the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages, which momentum traders usually see as negative.
And what about Wall Street analysts? What's the general feeling there?
Still pretty skeptical overall. The consensus seems to be mostly hold or even reduce. Not a lot of ringing endorsements based on where things stand today.
Okay, so we have cautious technicals, skeptical analysts, and yet that huge, what was it, 68% surge in September? How do we possibly square that? What on earth drove that rally?
That seems to have been almost entirely fueled by sentiment and a big push on visibility from the company. Yeah, that September jump was about 68%, capping off a nearly 90% recovery from the low point in June.
Incredible move.
And it looks like it was largely driven by increased communication with institutional investors. They did a bunch of non-deal roadshows, NDRs, and presented at major conferences like HEC Wainwright.
NDRs. So management is out there meeting with the big money managers, pitching the story, but not actually selling stock at that moment.
Exactly. It's designed to rebuild confidence, talk up the long-term potential, remind everyone about the IRA catalyst. And clearly, it worked, at least temporarily. It sparked a lot of speculative interest, maybe forced some shorts to cover.
Right, gets the buzz going. But what about the insiders, the executives running the company day to day? Were they buying into this rally?
Now that's a crucial counterpoint. While the stock was soaring in September, based on that institutional buzz, insider activity was, well, notably cautious. The reports we saw highlighted that insider sales have actually outpaced insider purchases in recent quarters.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, for example, Benjamin Haycraft made a significant sale on September 16th. It suggests that maybe some people closest to the company were using the rally to take some profits rather than doubling down. It's a stark contrast to the market's enthusiasm.
Okay, so wrapping this up for someone trying to make sense of it all, what are the key things to watch for right now? The events that could potentially tip the scales one way or the other?
There are definitely some critical short-term catalysts on the horizon. Probably the most important is the Q3 2025 earnings report. That's expected around late October, maybe the 25th.
And what are analysts laser focused on in that report, beyond just revenue?
Oh, way beyond revenue. Yes, revenue matters, but the real focus will be on gross margins. Any sign of improvement? What's the cash burn rate looking like?
Yeah.
And crucially, what's the exact liquidity status? How much runway do they have left? That report is going to be under a microscope.
Okay, Q3 earnings, got it. What else?
We need to see tangible progress on those hydrogen plant expansions. Are they hitting milestones? Are they actually starting commercial shipments from these new big facilities? Proof they can execute operationally is key.
Makes sense. Actions speak louder.
Exactly. And then, always looming, is the IRA subsidy clarity. Everyone's waiting for the final rules from the Treasury and the Department of Energy. How will those credits actually be implemented? When will the money realistically start flowing? Favorable guidance there could unlock financing options.
Right, the big policy question mark. And on the more speculative side, given the financial tightness, any M&A chatter, partnerships.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That kind of talk swirls around Plug Power constantly. Given their infrastructure assets but weak finances, they're often mentioned as either a potential acquisition target for a larger player,
Right.
or maybe a candidate for a major industrial partnership, say teaming up with a big automaker or a major European energy firm. That could provide a much-needed capital injection and operational expertise. Pure speculation, but it's part of the narrative.
Okay, before we get to a final summary, let's just hammer home those top risks one more time. For you, the listener, may be tempted by that low share price. What are the absolute non-negotiables to keep in mind?
Number one, no question. That explicit going concern warning in their official filings, you cannot downplay that. Management themselves have flagged a material risk to the company's survival in the near term.
Got it. Risk one, basic survival.
Risk two, continued shareholder dilution. Remember that filing to register 185.4 million potential new shares. If they keep needing cash, expect more of that. Your ownership stake gets watered down. It puts pressure on the price.
Okay, dilution risk, constant threat.
And third, I'd say, is customer concentration. A significant chunk of their revenue comes from just a few large contracts. If something changes with one of those key customers, they delay plans, change strategy, it could hit Plug Power's revenue hard.
All right, so bringing all this analysis together, based on the stack of information, the overall investment thesis seems pretty heavily weighted to the cautious side. The consensus rating from the sources we looked at puts Plug Power at about 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I think 3 out of 10 feels right. It acknowledges the genuine, massive, long-term potential. I mean, being a leader in green hydrogen infrastructure, that's a potentially huge market decades from now.
The but is pretty big here.
The but is huge. The current financial reality is just incredibly challenging. The severe cash burn, the negative margins, the ongoing dilution risk, and again, that explicit going concern warning. It makes near-term survival far too uncertain for comfort.
So who should even consider this stock right now?
Honestly, based on these fundamentals today, it really only seems suitable for highly risk-tolerant speculators. People who understand they're making a high-risk bet, essentially gambling on either those IRA subsidies coming through perfectly and quickly, or on a dramatic successful turnaround in operations very soon. It is definitely not, based on current facts, an investment for a stable core portfolio.
That's a very clear takeaway. Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listener, to consider as you process all this. We've discussed the high execution risk, the plant delays, supply chain issues, and the critical liquidity concerns. We've also talked about the potential game changer of the IRA subsidies. Looking ahead over, say, the next 6 months, which factor do you think is the absolute most crucial element for Plug Power to address to stabilize its outlook? Is it nailing the operational ramp-up of those new plants, proving they can make hydrogen efficiently? Or is it securing that government policy support?
That's the key strategic question, isn't it, for
Yeah.
me? I'd argue it has to be the operational execution. Yes, the IRA money is vital for the long-term economics, but if they can't demonstrate now that they can actually produce hydrogen efficiently, if they can't start fixing those terrible gross margins, then even free government money won't make the core business viable. They need to show the operations can work soon to regain any kind of investor trust.
Proving the core operation can work? Definitely something to weigh heavily as you watch this incredibly volatile situation unfold. All right, that's our analysis of Plug Power for today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. See you next time.
We'll catch you on the next Investing Talk podcast.